In South America, Portuguese. Uruguay, officially the Oriental Republic of Uruguay, is a country in South America. It shares borders with Argentina to its west and southwest and Brazil to its north and northeast, while bordering the Rio de la Plata to the south and the Atlantic Ocean to the southeast. Uruguay covers an area of approximately 176,000 square kilometers and has a population of an estimated 3.51 million, of whom 2 million live in the metropolitan area of its capital and largest city, Montevideo. The area that became Uruguay was first inhabited by groups of hunter-gatherers 13,000 years ago. The predominant tribe at the moment of the arrival of Europeans was the Charrua people. When the Portuguese first established Colonia do Sacramento in 1680, Uruguay was colonized by Europeans relatively late compared with neighboring countries. Montevideo was founded as a military stronghold by the Spanish in the early 18th century, signifying the competing claims over the region. Uruguay won its independence between 1811 and 1828, following a four-way struggle between Portugal and Spain, and later Argentina and Brazil. It remained subject to foreign influence and intervention throughout the 19th century, with the military playing a recurring role in domestic politics. A series of economic crises put an end to a democratic period that had begun in the early 20th century, culminating in a 1973 coup, which established a civic military dictatorship. The military government persecuted leftists, socialists, and political opponents, resulting in several deaths and numerous instances of torture by the military. The military relinquished power to a civilian government in 1985. Uruguay is today a democratic constitutional republic, with a president who serves as both head of state and head of government. Uruguay has a high-income economy, and is ranked first in Latin America in democracy, peace, low perception of corruption, government, and is first in South America when it comes to press freedom, size of the middle class, and prosperity. On a per capita basis, Uruguay contributes more troops to United Nations peacekeeping missions than any other country. It is the lowest-ranking South American nation in the Global Terrorism Index, and ranks second in the continent on economic freedom, income equality, per capita income, and inflows of FDI. Uruguay is the third best country on the continent in terms of Human Development Index, GDP growth, innovation, and infrastructure. Uruguay is regarded as one of the most socially progressive countries in Latin America. It ranks high on global measures of personal rights, tolerance, and inclusion issues, including its acceptance of the LGBT community. The country has legalized cannabis, while same-sex marriage and abortion are also legal. Uruguay is a founding member of the United Nations, OAS, Mercosur, and the Non-Aligned Movement. The name of the country derives from the namesake river, which comes from the Guarani indigenous language. There are several interpretations, including Bird River. The name could also refer to a river snail called Uruguay that was plentiful across its shores. One of the most popular interpretations of the name was proposed by the renowned Uruguayan poet Juan Zorrilla de San Martin, the river of painted birds. This interpretation, although dubious, still holds an important cultural significance in the country. In Spanish colonial times, and for some time thereafter, Uruguay and some neighboring territories were called Banda Oriental. Then for a few years the Eastern Province. Since its independence, the country has been known as República Oriental del Uruguay, which literally translates to Eastern Republic of the Uruguay. However, it is commonly translated either as the Oriental Republic of Uruguay or the Eastern Republic of Uruguay. Uruguay was first inhabited around 13,000 years ago by hunter-gatherers. It is estimated that at the time of the first contact with Europeans in the 16th century there were about 9,000 Charrua and 6,000 Chanar and some Guarani island settlements. There is an extensive group of thousands of man-made tumulus known as Pichito Paloma in the eastern part of the country, some of them dating back to 5,000 years ago. Yet very little is known about the people who built them, as they left no written record. Evidence was found of agriculture and domesticated dogs. Fructuoso Rivera, Uruguay's first president, organized in 1831 the final strike of the Charrúa genocide, eradicating the last remnants of the Uruguayan native population. The Portuguese were the first Europeans to enter the region of present-day Uruguay in 1512. The Spanish arrived in present-day Uruguay in 1516. The indigenous people's fierce resistance to conquest, combined with the absence of gold and silver, limited their settlement in the region during the 16th and 17th centuries. Uruguay then became a zone of contention between the Spanish and Portuguese.